So welcome back to another video, and in this video we're going to be continuing on with our macOS development with AppKit tutorial series. And in this particular tutorial we are going to be taking a look at a horizontally oriented NSStackView. Now, what is NSStackView? Well, NSStackView is a view in AppKit that, as the name implies, allows you to stack views on top of or next to each other. Now, there are two kinds of stack views. There is a horizontal and a vertical stack view. Now, they aren't separate classes. They're one class, but in order to make them horizontal or vertical, you need to change the value of a specific property, and I'll show you what that property is as we move forward. But you're going to find yourself using stack views quite often to lay out, for example, forms. Those are very good use cases, forms, for stack views, because you need to stack your views on top of each other or next to each other. All that kind of stuff. It makes it a little bit easier, so you don't have to do as many auto layout constraints. Now, the other thing about stack views is that when you add views to a stack, you don't need to do any auto layout work. The stack view does it all for you, which is nice, based on specific conditions, such as gravity and what you want the distribution to be like, and all that kind of stuff. And we'll take a look at a few of those properties going forward. So let's go into Xcode, and we'll take a look at what we have so far. Now, in the starter project, I have 6 NSView objects. Each of them has their own background color, and they each have a corner radius and a shadow setup to kind of make them look nice. But we're going to put all 6 of these in a stack view. We don't have any auto layout stuff set up for these views. We're not even setting translates auto resizing mask into constraints, because we don't have to. You can, but you don't have to. Alright, so let's go ahead and go to our configure stack method that I have here after we create our stack up here, up above, at the very top of our file. Let me check the font size. Okay, 18 point should be fine. Alright. So let's go ahead and create an NSStackView by saying var stack equals NSStackView. Now, there are a few initializers. We're going to leave it empty. So we'll just leave it empty like that. My goodness, excuse me. So now let's go to our configure stack method. Let's see. Okay, yep. Alright, so here's our configure stack method. Now, in here, we're going to actually do some configuration. So we'll say stack.orientation. Now, this orientation property is how we set whether or not we want our stack view to be horizontal or vertical. And by default, it's horizontal, but we're going to set it explicitly equals dot horizontal, like that. And then we can do stack dot Now we have edge insets. And if you want some, some padding for the contents of the stack, edge insets is the property that we need to use there. Now we can see it's an NS edge insets, so we can say edge insets equals NS edge insets Here we can give it some padding on each side. So top, we'll say 10, 10, 10, and 10. And so now we have a padding of 10 points inside of our stack surrounding our views. All right. Now we'll say stack dot. Now spacing. This property allows us to specify how much spacing there is between each view. So do we want there to be, say, 10 points of spacing, 20 points, whatever the case might be? I'm going to set 10 points of spacing. And we'll say stack dot. Now, we want to find distribution. There we go. There are many different values for distribution. So let's take a look at those. We have equal centering. We have equal spacing. We have fill. And then fill equally. Fill proportionally, gravity areas. Now we're going to use fill equally, and what this will do is it'll fill the space of the stack view equally while also taking the spacing into account. So each view will take up the same amount of space. All right. And now finally we can actually add subviews to our stack view. You might think, oh, well, wouldn't we just do stack.add subview da 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 da? No. Not in this case we wouldn't. Because if we do it that way, it's not going to treat them as what's called an arranged subview. It's not if we just use add subview, it's not going to do all that auto layout work for us. So we need to add each view that we want to add to our stack as an arranged subview. So to do that, we just call the method add arranged subview on our stack. So we'll say stack dot add stack dot add arranged subview. We'll say red view, and then we will just kind of proactively add them individually as we go along. All right. So we'll say purple, blue view, green view, yellow, and orange. All right. So now that we have all 6 of our views added to our stack here, we need to add our stack as a subview to the view. So view add subview stack. And we need to say stack.translates auto resizing mask into constraints equals false, like that. All right. We need to change this here. There we go. Save that, build it. We still get a build failure. All right. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at what we have here. Some property was used but never assigned. Okay, stack spacing equals 10. And we're good. Now let's run our code. There we go. We have a successful build. And here is our window. You can see that we have all of our views stacked horizontally inside of the window there. However, they aren't very visible. So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and set a height anchor for this. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to go into the configure constraints here. And we'll say stack dot height anchor dot constraint equal to constant. We'll say we'll say 150. So save that, run it. And there we go. Now we can see the views a lot better. So now that our stack view has a little bit more height to it, we can see our red view, our orange view, our yellow view, green, blue, and purple views, all lined up equally sized horizontally across our window, which is perfect. This is precisely what we want to happen. And if we made this have fewer views, the views would get wider. And if we were to make the window wider, that would also change. So let's go ahead and actually do that. So I'm going to resize. We're going to move the right edge. And so as I move the right edge, you can see the views are also resizing. So the wider the window, the wider the view in this case. because it's got to fill up extra space. Now, what if I go and make our stack view taller? And instead of 150, it will be, say, 350 now. If we run that, we get a successful build. And now you can see our views are taller, and they still, they take up that equal amount of space as we wanted them to do. But now they're not like super wide compared to their height anymore. It's a little bit more proportional, but not too bad. Alright, so that pretty much does it for our video on horizontal stack views. In the next video, we will take a look at how we can make this stack view vertical to fit the height of our window instead of the width. Thank you all so very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.